Some positive news this morning on the vaccine front. In what comes as a huge boost for kids and for worried parents, India is likely to get a vaccine for children in the next 3 months. That's what AIIMS Director Dr. Randeep Guleria has told India today. Bharat Biotech's indigenous Covaxin is a front-runner in the race. Here's an exclusive report by Sneha Murdani.
India may have anti-COVID vaccine for children soon. Preventive shots for kids as young as 2 years may get the government's approval as early as September. That's not all. Made in India Covaxin, developed by Bharat Biotech and Indian Council of Medical Research, is the front runner in the race. In an exclusive interview to India Today, AIIMS Director and member of the government's COVID task force, Dr. Randeep Guleria, broke his silence on the nitty-gritties of vaccination for kids.
So vaccine trials in India are already going on. Bharat Biotech is already doing the trials and one is hopeful that the results will be out quickly. I think by September the data should be out and we should be able to have the regulatory approvals by then.
India's premier medical institute, AIIMS, began screening children for these trials on the 7th of June. They chose children between 2 and 17 for the trials. Not only Covaxin, Dr. Guleria has revealed that once Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine gets a green signal in India, it could be an option for children.
Pfizer has already got FDA approval for their vaccine. And if Pfizer also comes into our country, and since we may accept the FDA approval which has been given by the US regulators, as far as India is concerned, we could also look at that vaccine being available for children.
The government plans to vaccinate at least 80% of the 13 crore population falling in the 12 to 18 age group. This would mean the government needs to secure at least 21 crore doses to meet the target. The vaccination drive in the country has picked up pace, but children are still left vulnerable. Hence, news of a vaccine for children sometime after September is rather reassuring. This also gives the government an opportunity to now think and plan opening up of schools. In New Delhi, Sneha Murdani for India Today.
Now, after submitting Phase 3 data to the Drug Controller General of India, Bharat Biotech is set to have a pre-submission meeting with the WHO today. This meeting is significant because Covaxin is yet to receive a nod from the WHO, which holds the key for global acceptance of a vaccine.
Is your vaccine your passport to travel abroad? Not yet, but approval from the World Health Organization is required only for a vaccine to be accepted widely across the world. For now, out of the 3 vaccines available in India, Covaxin is yet to get the stamp of approval from the World Health Organization. Bharat Biotech on Tuesday submitted Phase 3 data to the Drug Controller of India, claiming 77.8% efficacy. Phase 3 data submission means it will boost Covaxin's chances of getting World Health Organization's Emergency Use Listing, or EUL, which will be critical for the global acceptance of the Made in India COVID-19 jab. The pre-submission meeting for Covaxin is scheduled for the 23rd of June. The World Health Organization has already accepted the expression of interest for Covaxin. The global body has sought more time from the Indian company. The pre-submission meeting is going to be followed by the acceptance of the dossier for review, following which World Health Organization will be giving a targeted action date or anticipated decision date. Only COVID-19 vaccines that have undergone Phase 2 or Phase 3 studies and have been submitted to the National Regulatory Agency of record are under consideration for approval by the world body. In India's case, the regulatory authority is the DCGI, or the Drugs Controller General of India. The WHO's decision on listing will not be made until the NRA, or the National Regulatory Agency of record, has authorized the vaccine. That is why submitting the data to the regulator was important. Well, as Bharat Biotech awaits emergency use approval from WHO, the company has said it hopes to get the World Health Body's green light by the 3rd or 4th quarter of this year. But what really is pre-qualification? Pre-qualification is a procedure adopted by the World Health Organization to ensure supply of quality assured products. It has its origin in the expanded program of immunization which started globally in 1974. If a country wanted to purchase a shot, it was neither feasible nor affordable for every country to verify the quality. Therefore, member states mandated the World Health Organization to start an initiative to certify that a product met agreed international standards in quality, safety and efficacy. Experts say that like other vaccines, Covaxin too will be requiring a pre-qualification for wider acceptability of this vaccine. Bharat Biotech would want this vaccine to reach other countries also apart from India. Eventually, if at all vaccine passport system is implemented, this is going to be extremely important. But for the time being, submission of phase 3 data and efficacy results and eventually the acceptance of the same by India's regulators will also help build confidence around India's first indigenous vaccine against COVID-19. In New Delhi, Sneha Mordani for India Today.
Now, while evidence suggests that the Delta variant dominated during the second COVID-19 wave in India, there is growing concern now about its most recent mutation. It's called the Delta Plus variant, and it's made its traces visible now in a few states. How much of a threat is this variant to India? Milind Sharma gets you the details.
Delta Plus, the new variant of coronavirus, is spreading slowly in India. 21 cases of Delta Plus have been detected in Maharashtra. The state government says 9 cases are from Ratnagiri, 7 from Jalgaon, 2 from Mumbai and 1 each from Palghar and Sindhudurg Thane. Cases are also detected in Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka and Kerala. The centre has asked the 3 states to be on alert.
आज स्वास्थ्य मंत्रालय ने इन राज्यों को एक एडवाइजरी जारी करके ये बताया है व्हाट इज द काइंड ऑफ पब्लिक हेल्थ रिस्पांस दैट महाराष्ट्र, मध्य प्रदेश एंड केरला शुड इनिशिएट, which presently looks fairly small in terms of number, but we would not want this to assume significant proportion.
The Delta variant had triggered the second wave that stretched India's health infrastructure to the limits. The fear is that latest variant could evade immunity induced by vaccines and previous infection.
This virus can infect people and can be responsible for the third wave. So it has to be the totally a social responsibility to prevent this third wave from the Delta Plus.
India could perhaps learn from the UK experience. A study done by Public Health England shows 2 doses of AstraZeneca vaccine is 92% effective against hospitalization due to the Delta variant. But there are concerns as well. From February 1 to June 14, 73 deaths were reported in Britain owing to Delta variant. 34 of them weren't vaccinated. 11 had received 1 dose of COVID vaccine. 26 had received both shots.
Scientists are still working to understand this virus, and particularly now with these mutating viruses. And for safety, the only weapon we have is vaccination. AstraZeneca is equivalent to COVID Shield of India. It is definitely effective, almost 80 to 90% if you had both the doses of this vaccine.
With the Delta Plus variant, the immediate question is, could it be a contributing factor to the impending third wave in India? Experts believe that one should move on precedents, because even though the Delta variant, the parent variant, was seen in India in a few cases in December 2020, emerging evidence shows that it was the one that wreaked havoc across the country in the second wave of COVID-19. Right now, more sequencing will need to be done from each and every district where the Delta Plus is being reported from. With Dinesh Lal in New Delhi, this is Milind Sharma for India Today.
India may have registered record-breaking vaccinations, but there's no end to politics, however, over the vaccines. Congress MP Rahul Gandhi lashed out at the Modi government's COVID management. The BJP's hit back, calling Rahul a clown and states ruled by his party a circus.
The political war of words over the COVID crisis and the vaccine drive has intensified. A day after India recorded over 86 lakh vaccinations in a single day, Rahul Gandhi held a media briefing to question the government on several fronts. And this is what he had to say about the Prime Minister.
जो नीडलेस डेथ्स हुई हैं, प्राइम मिनिस्टर के आंसू उन परिवारों के आंसू को नहीं मिटा पाएंगे। प्रधानमंत्री के आंसू ने उनको नहीं बचाया, मगर ऑक्सीजन जरूर बचा सकता था।
Rahul hailed the record vaccinations on Monday, but also doled out advice on equal distribution of vaccines.
Yes, good work has happened yesterday, but this is not a series of events. All states must be provided with the same assistance. All states must be provided with the same quantity of vaccinations that are required.
Rahul's COVID jibes didn't go down well with the BJP, who called him Confucius Gandhi.
Confusion is thy name. Rahul Gandhi ji ka naam hi confusion hai. He's Confucius Gandhi. That as far as Rahul Gandhi and Congress party is concerned, they should be called as the clown in the circus.
The BJP also asked Rahul Gandhi several pointed questions, among them whether he and his family have been vaccinated yet.
Rahul Gandhi, are you vaccinated? क्या प्रियंका वाड्रा जी ने वैक्सीन ले लिया है? प्रियंका जी, are you vaccinated? रॉबर्ट वाड्रा वैक्सीनेटेड हैं या नहीं है? बिकॉज जो कांग्रेस की फर्स्ट फैमिली है, क्या ये फर्स्ट फैमिली वैक्सीनेटेड है या नहीं है?
Rahul's vaccine advice prompted the BJP to fire this attack.
Mission, a COVID vaccination mission, is a good one where we involve the country and say, okay, as a nation, we have to get this job done.
हमें वैक्सीन क्यों नहीं दे रहे हैं? से जब कोवैक्सीन आता है और छत्तीसगढ़, राजस्थान इत्यादि राज्यों में कोवैक्सीन सप्लाई की जाती है, तो कांग्रेस शासित राज्य मना कर देते हैं वैक्सीन लेने से। वैक्सीन हेजिटेंसी को बढ़ावा मिलता है।
Amid a raging ongoing pandemic, the war of words between Rahul Gandhi and the Bharatiya Janata Party continues. Now with Rahul Gandhi warning the central government against an imminent third wave of the coronavirus pandemic, the BJP questioning the Congress if Congress-ruled states have vaccinated enough. With camera person Hitesh, Polami Saha in Delhi for India Today.
Amid speculations about rumblings within the BJP's Uttar Pradesh unit, the party has completely settled the debate over whether there's going to be a change in the CM face. The Saffron Party's General Secretary Arun Singh has confirmed to India Today that Yogi Adityanath will remain the CM face for the upcoming polls.
After all the rumblings and suspense, the BJP seems to have made up its mind. Putting all speculation to rest, the party has declared Yogi Adityanath as the BJP's CM face in the assembly polls early next year.
देश का सबसे बड़ा राज्य उत्तर प्रदेश है, बिल्कुल कानून व्यवस्था ठीक है और हमारे मुख्यमंत्री हैं, मुख्यमंत्री रहेंगे.
He will not be replaced before the next election.
I said he is our chief minister, he will remain chief minister.
The confirmation comes amid reports of discontent within the party's Uttar Pradesh unit over the handling of COVID second wave in the state. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh had last week told India Today that Yogi Adityanath won't be replaced. He had in fact hailed Yogi's COVID management.
मैंने यूपी के मुख्यमंत्री ने बहुत ही शानदार काम किया, लेकिन कोविड से प्रभावित रहने के बावजूद जब आइसोलेशन में थे तब भी वो लगातार वो काम करते रहे, इसलिए उनके नियत पर सवालिया निशान नहीं लगाया जा सकता.
Earlier this month, Yogi held a series of meetings with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Home Minister Amit Shah and BJP Chief JP Nadda. The meetings were seen as Yogi's bid to send out a message to his detractors and to get an endorsement from the party's top brass. With the BJP's top guns throwing their weight behind Yogi Adityanath, the party is now fully geared to enter the poll arena in Uttar Pradesh. With Shivendra Srivastav in Lucknow and Devankur Vadhavan in Jaipur, Bureau Report, India Today.
We may have lost 2 entire days to rain, but with all 3 results possible on the final day of the World Test Championship final, there's a lot to be excited about. India came roaring back with the ball, managing to bowl New Zealand out for 249 from their overnight score of 101 for 2. The onus now is on the Indian batsmen to bat big and bat quick so that the bowlers have enough on the board to defend. At stumps on day 5, the penultimate day, India lost 2 wickets for 64 runs.
Forecast is much better today and tomorrow. The good news is that
first it was the drizzle that delayed the start of play on day 5. Then it was the New Zealand batsmen going into their shell in the first hour. It felt like the match was heading nowhere. Up until India brought on the squeeze. 3 wickets fell for just 18 runs as India turned on the screws in the final 40 minutes of the morning session.
From Shami gets the length right, nips away, picks up off stump.
Ross Taylor was snaffled brilliantly by Shubman Gill at covers, followed by a peach of a delivery from Ishant Sharma that brought the curtains down on Henry Nicholls.
Coming across in front.
The cherry on top was the ripper from Mohammad Shami that completely outfoxed PJ Watling.
Watling gone. India on fire.
While wickets stumbled at the other end with Kiwi lower order trying to up the ante, captain Kane Williamson stood there like a rock. He showed great skill and determination as New Zealand captain missed out on a half-century by a solitary run.
Safe pair of hands.
New Zealand were eventually bowled out for 249 with Tim Southee's blazing cameo ensuring a 32-run lead for the Kiwis. Sports Bureau, India Today.
As big as the boundaries are.